Hi, hey, and all those other greetings, Spade Adventures. Welcome back to Spade Gals Original, the channel with script stories such as Girls Cyclones, Quincore, Florlai, and vlogs, as well as art videos. We also have my main channel being Spade Gals Productions with gaming and unboxing. I'm Jake Spins, and today it's our video time! Yeah, party! But it's not just our video time, it's also the time of a gamer's life. It is the Super Bowl, the 3-day Super Bowl. I know it's kind of weird for me to make a sports metaphor, but I'm telling you, it's a big time, and everybody here would probably know that. But it's E3 season, which is just amazing. We just completed day 2, but let's pretend that didn't happen because this is one of the weird cases where I'm filming the intro after I completed the art. I know it's weird. I don't enjoy doing it, but I still do it anyway, and mostly because I wanted to watch E3 stuff while I worked on something, and this art video is what I worked on. So the other day, first day of E3, there's always, well, Nintendo's E3. There's always a Nintendo Direct that goes on, which is just chock full of things that we can do artwork of. Seriously, have you seen Wooloo? I mean, I'm not gonna do artwork of Wooloo, but there's so much different stuff. There's Animal Crossing stuff. There's Luigi's Mansion. Not to mention Smash Brothers. We got 2 characters from Smash Brothers. That's awesome. Now we have more candidates for Smash Up, which is just amazing. I mean, we've only done 1 episode. But what I'm focusing on might seem a little bizarre. Now, you guys might remember in the Pokemon Direct, very long back, there was a lot of information. Surprisingly, this art video, even though it is based on Pokemon, it is no Pokemon. It's not Sonia. I know what everybody's probably thinking, because, trust me, there was a lot of art of Sonia, and a lot of people very excited for that character. But it's not her. In my reaction video, for the whole entire Direct, we got to Pokemon Sword and Shield, and there was one moment where I stopped and I thought to myself, wow, that character is really cool. She's very awesome, she's very pretty, and that character is the Water Gym Leader of Sword and Shield, Nessa. So, let's get right into that artwork, shall we? Alrighty, so here we are on the 3rd day of E3. Yeah, I'm actually sitting here with the E3 live stream going on and doing this commentary, because the next thing that is going to be on is something called Dauntless, and I have absolutely no idea what that is. So I figured, you know what? I'm going to get the commentary for this done, because I was going to do it beforehand, but there were certain things that happened, and yeah. So started the artwork on day 1 of E3, then finished the artwork on day 2, then did the intro, and now the commentary is day 3. And actually the live stream just came back on, and I was just like, oh, right, I gotta go watch it. But then I'm like, no, it's Dauntless, you're doing commentary, it's fine. And I can always watch it later, because they always upload things. Now, one thing that is interesting about this art that I've never done before is that I directly took all of the colors from the past artworks. I had the 3D model and the 2D model to work with. 3D model, 2D artwork, I mean. And it was kind of interesting because Nessa has a lot of different parts, and I'll get into that in a little bit. And one thing you'll see me do, I don't know if it already happened or not, because this is going at like 12x speed, is that I actually had to recreate the eye because I just didn't like how it looked. I was like, maybe it'll be fine, it'll work, whatever, no problem. But then I looked at it again and I was like, yikes. So I ended up redoing that, and then it was just like, okay, that's a lot better, because it's harder to do that. And another thing that I normally don't do, and I did this for Sobble, I went directly with the art video, or with the how the art was, and I went very faithful for it. So even though I usually do the eyelashes a certain way, and I like how I do the eyelashes, and if you look at the Peach artwork, you'll see for those are very different, and a lot of her design, even though it's based on Smash Brothers, it also takes a lot of creative liberties to it. But this artwork, I decided to, as I just said, go very faithful with it. So I had the eyelashes have those like weird kind of petal things in the middle, and I did 3. But I also wanted to do those winged tips at the end because those looked really nice and cool. I somehow always mention winged tips in so many of these videos, yet nobody has questioned why I know that. That was a thing in math class, because the teams that I would have would sometimes talk about things like winged tips for makeup and stuff. Now, for this artwork, even though there's not a lot to Nessa, outfit-wise, too much design-wise, most of it came with the hair. Now, I did have to start with the hair, do the base part, and then make the body, because I was like, this is kind of a little bizarre. And with that also came the exact pose, which was more standing forward instead of slightly leaned. Because I kind of do a more like relaxed, slightly leaned forward type of thing. Well, I don't know exactly how to, but like a normal stance type of thing, kind of, as I said, relaxed. Whereas she's kind of like very stall. She's standing very tall. Can you tell it's early in the morning? Because if you couldn't, then now can. But this was just a very interesting character to work with. Because there's certain things, like I said with the hair, I wanted to do like a Maitreya thing, but I realized there's another strand that I have to take into account on the other side, so I just decided even for that to go a little more faithful. There's just a lot of stuff to get done around here, and okay, so regrouping here really quick. Just want to mention that for pausing, if you see any of that, that's because I was doing stuff with music and just looking up, watching E3, having to make sure that the recording was set up and all that. And if you look right now, for the strand of hair, you might be like, why did you originally go off the straight of the path and put it towards the chest? Well, my original thought was, because of how the hair was, I kind of wanted to do a Maitreya type of thing, where I had some of the hair laying on her, but I realized, A, the way her clothes are designed, it wouldn't really work well, but also the strand of hair on the other side, even though it goes behind the artwork, it just wouldn't have necessarily flowed as nicely. Already, even though it's hardly anywhere into this whole entire thing, you're already seeing there are so many colors that I had to use and manage as well. There's the skin tone, there's the 2 separate blues of the eyes, there's the white, there's the black of the eyelashes, and by the way, these all have 2 different shades. There's the blues of the hair, there's the light blue of the hair as well, and then you have the orange, which is just crazy. That's already 8 different colors that I listed, so that's a good 16 colors that I had to manage with just the top part alone. Not only to mention, you might notice a certain area by the top of the hair that I had to leave blank. This is because one of the big features of Nessa is that she actually has earrings. She has these big hoop earrings, and she also has these like little tiny side earrings as well. And while we haven't gotten to that, one thing you probably have noticed for my artwork, I never put a nose for Floral Eye, but I've never done an ear in any of my artwork. Seriously, no joke, never done an ear. And granted, doing it there made that light blue strand so much easier to do. And one of the best parts about the hair being in the background is that, you know, the gumbled mess of the whole entire thing, it not being all great and stuff, it covers it. So any part that I make a mistake on, not too bad. Also, I kind of forgot that I did the earring more so with the clothes thing, even though I put the ear. But, like, ears are just weird, you know? The first time that I tried to do the ear, it was just god awful. And then I fixed it, and I was like, okay, that's more of, like, an ear shape. Another thing I'm, like, never fond of is after I paste the feet, because I usually do the legs very strangely, like, away from the thing. It's kind of annoying. And another thing, I keep saying all the things that I'm, like, all jumbled about this artwork. The hands, oh boy, specifically the hand we are working on now was a nightmare. Well, okay, not a nightmare. But it was just weird because she's holding a Pokeball. She has gloves on. So it was just super, super duper weird. And now I'm thinking about it. Did she actually have 2 gloves? Because I don't think I put a glove on the other hand. Yeah, I may have... Oh, no, she doesn't. She just has the 1 glove on her Pokeball hand, which is interesting, but it's a good thing I paid attention to that, because I was going direct source into that. But here we go. There's that big hoop earring that I was going to say we all know and love, but I don't think we do. Making circles and earrings and stuff like this is always very tricky, though, because it would be so nice to just be able to put a nice big circle and just use that gradient tool, but you can't do that. So I have to use a circle to guide, go inside the circle, and it's always the best when it's not a complete circle, because then you can easily loop around and make it an easier thing to do instead of doing it the other way. It's just all craziness. For the shirt, and this is a method you guys have probably seen me do previously, to make sure that it kind of is a little more separate and just looks better. Usually it's a color that you can actually tell. I usually don't use white for the shirt, but I do the left part of the left side and the right side as 2 separate entities. So then I actually have more of a direct middle, more of an idea of, okay, so this is one side, this is another side. Of course, this is not something that I have to worry about when I'm making guys, but I usually don't make male characters, just generally because a lot of my original characters and original art are based on females, because Gorilla Cyclones, the way I did that, it just wouldn't have worked as well with, you know, with as many males, even though I do want to make more males, but I never worked on, like, a season 2. And here I am talking about my own original series. Go check out Gorilla Cyclones. Yeah! One thing that I do mention, though, in the outro, and I'm going to mention it again, because repetition is clearly key, is that for the artwork, even though I did go extremely faithful, even to the pose, and again, so many blues. So many! Look at how many blues are in this artwork! I know it's the water gym leader, but I had to use so many different blues. It was ridiculously insane. But there's a few things, tiny things, that I didn't go as faithful, just to kind of bring the artwork to life. And as I said, even more shapes that involve you putting all of that together. And I realized that a mistake I made in this, that because I was so in the zone that I just never ended up fixing, was in that armband. And it's probably a mistake to mention mistakes in my own artwork, because then people are going to be like, oh, that's what's wrong with it. But in the armband, that one shape, when you have to complete those, sometimes you don't exactly align it, so there's either a few pixels missing, or it, like, just hits that little tiny area. where, like, you know, in the middle, there will be stuff, extra pixels there, and it just looks gross. And might I mention, in the last few seconds, we just added 2 more blues. Seriously, there are more blues in this entire thing. Like, if you split the colors in half, I'm sure that a majority of these will be blues, because I almost said there's more blues than there are colors in this artwork, which is not physically possible. Spins, you are just a joy in the morning. Seriously. Good job, Spins. You fail once again. But for the hands, even though I had a problem with it, thankfully I learned about layers a long time ago, and those gloves, seriously, the gloves alone minus the Pokeball is a good 3 to 4 different layers. But I'm so super glad that I learned about it, because if I did not know about layers, this artwork would have been such a pain to complete, because there's so many different layers with the gloves. The gloves alone, as I said, are 4 different layers. The hair alone is a good 8 layers, 8 to 9 layers, and that's not even a joke. The jewelry is a good 3 layers. The only thing that is like 1 layer is the jewelry around the waist, which in the artwork, the beads are separate, but I didn't really like that look, so I put them all together. And that's another place where you see I went very faithful with this, because I even made the hand motion, the weird hand thing, because I can never do hands well, but in this one I actually did it decently, and I checked, there's no glove on the other hand. But for that hand, she actually has the jewelry in her thumb. For some reason, I can never get it to look nice. But honestly, even there, even though it's kind of like both hands are curved in such an interesting way for the way I do artwork, I still did well. Yes, I will praise myself on how I created artwork of hands. Because if you look at some of my old artwork, even some of my new artwork, the hands just look so off and so ridiculous and just so meh. So one thing that I'm actually going to talk about is I'm going to stray away from the artwork. So we heard that 2 things. One, which I did mention in the last Let's Go episode, because that playthrough is still going on SGP. I mentioned that in the Direct, they told us the Pokeball Plus, you can carry Pokemon in it, take them for a walk, but can't use it as a controller. So that's one moment of just frustration, but I've already gone past that. We found out some more news, which honestly, I'm kind of okay with depending on how it goes, considering how other things like Black and White were. We found out that not every single Pokemon is going to return inside of Sword and Shield. Is this a game-busting, awful, terrible thing? No. But a lot of people are very upset about this. And my thing is, it's over 800 Pokemon. We have a giant wild area now. It's huge. Like, I feel like starting to complain about things like not as many Pokemon being in is kind of like a weird thing to complain about. But anyway, though, sorry that I can't complete that thought because I didn't realize it's already the end. Alright, guys, so take it away, outro Spins, and hope you enjoyed. Bum, ba-da-dum, bum, bum, bum. It is done. We technically don't have the water badge, but I'm going to say it anyway because it sounds cool. We got the water badge because we have completed the artwork of good old Nessa. Seriously, like, it's even more funny because of what I'm planning on naming our protagonist character in my canonical headcanon that you guys know I just love to do, and it actually dates back to Pokemon Tournament when we did that playthrough. But anyway, though, we have Nessa, and I went very, very faithful. That's the word. Faithful to the original art. There's very few things that I changed. While I will be talking about a lot of this stuff during the actual commentary during the video, I did want to mention a few things. First off, I didn't do shading. Now, one of those big reasons is if you're, well, looking at this artwork, and I've probably said this in the video too, but I don't know because I haven't done that. Looking at this, you can probably tell how many different details I had to go through. Seriously, this character alone, without shading, took probably as long as a character with shading. And not only that, has more layers than a lot of my original characters alone, just because of the sheer amount of detail on this character, which is surprising considering the character hardly has any clothes. But the clothes that she has, and the accessories, and oh my gosh, her hair took hours. But even right down to the pose, I seriously went and I looked, and I said, you know what, I'm going to do the pose from this key artwork. While you can't see it, I chose the key artwork of, you know, the 2D artwork that they always do for Pokemon. I went with that, did the pose. I even took the colors from that artwork. There's very few amount of those colors that is not from that. There are a few, but it's very, very limited. This character was very fun to make, don't get me wrong. But, you know. There were 2 liberties that I made in this. Of course, trying to get the back and seeing what was going on there was very hard, so some things aren't positioned exactly correctly, which is fine. But the places I took a few creative liberties was with the water badge. I didn't put something in the center because I just didn't think about it, but also I just didn't feel like putting something in the center, to be honest. But instead of a circle, I made it a heart, and the only other liberty that I made was on the shorts. I made the little blue things water, because it fits because of our thumbnail having the little wave that goes like, you guys know how waves work. I don't know why my brain's like, explain it. I mean, it's been 2 days of E3, so my mind's pretty much just all over the place with thoughts of Mario Maker and all this other stuff. Now, just want to put this out there. Oh yeah, other thing. Actually, no, I'll just mention that in the video. But I do want to mention I'm probably likely going to try to keep myself busy during E3 for the last day. And I'm probably going to try to do one of the starter Pokemons. No promises, but I feel like that would make the most sense and be the best thing because I can't write. I mean, I did edit the video for tomorrow during E3. So, and I also finished this up. So there's a lot I can do, but it's pretty much settled down to artwork is the best thing. So I'll probably work on something smaller, as I said, like the starters, because I wanted to do, oh, excuse me, I wanted to do all 3 of the starters, so I'll probably do that. Will I do any more Pokemon trainers in the future? Maybe. I don't know. Probably not characters as ambitious as this. But who knows? Maybe I'll go back and I'll make like Dawn or Misty or something. You know, I don't know. But there will be more art videos in the future, and we are getting so much closer to my room being painted. And once that's done, SGO will at least be cranked up a notch. I'm going to try to stay a little more consistent with this channel. I can't make any promises because I'm still making, even during E3, I'm still making daily content and streaming on SGP. Which is crazy that people are like, oh my gosh, you're still alive when I stream on SGP. And I'm like, dude, I streamed like less than a week ago. I also do daily uploads. Okay. If you guys have any characters that you would like to see me do in any art videos, let me know in the comment section below. There are no promises that I will do them, but if I know that there is interest for those characters, I will do my very best to try and see what I can do and if it makes sense. Also, check out my reactions on SGP, and I'll see you guys in the next episode of Art, or whatever you decide to click on. Alright, guys, keep it safe.